There's a flag as... Whoa! Hello! Whoa!
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 unsportsmanlike moments in sports.
Showing that what he did was stupid right in front of the referee, who produced a red card.
This is the first. Kevin Collins breaks up, fights in the penalty box too.
For this list, we're focusing on displays of bad behavior, unsportsmanlike conduct, and violence during or after sporting events that simply made our jaws drop. Which unsportsmanlike moment had you shaking your head? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Dale Hunter blindsides Pierre Turgeon.
Turgeon steals the puck, walks in.
Today, Dale Hunter has a fantastic reputation as a professional hockey coach in the Ontario Hockey League.
On October 31st, Hunter notched his 600th OHL win.
But back in 1993, he proved himself to be just another testosterone-fueled athlete in the Patrick Division semifinals of the NHL playoffs.
Dale Hunter puts on Turgeon after the goal. Both Turgeon and then Benoit Hogue were injured from the rough stuff.
In Game 6 against the New York Islanders, Hunter lost the puck to Pierre Turgeon. Not only did Turgeon capitalize on the opportunity by scoring, he also celebrated, as hockey players often do. Hunter then proceeded to hunt down Turgeon and delivered a hard-hitting check. As a result, he would miss the first 21 games of the following season.
I've lost a tremendous amount of respect for that organization and that player, and there's no time in the league for a player like that.
Number 19. Floyd Mayweather Jr. punches Victor Ortiz. A few years ago, Floyd Mayweather Jr. destroyed the hopes of casual boxing fans.
This isn't going to win him any more fans, but it was legal.
The pound-for-pound champ crushed the jaw of an opponent that maybe, just maybe, could have handed Money his first professional loss.
Ortiz headbutts Mayweather. There's a break in the round. They start back up. Ortiz lets his guard down. Mayweather sucker punches him, and that's that. And you wasted $70 on pay-per-view.
Nobody expected Victor Ortiz to outbox the champ on that June evening, but then again, nobody expected Floyd to get his boxing shorts in a knot and cheap shot a defenseless Ortiz.
Let Ortiz talking to Mayweather, and watch that.
If you're a die-hard Mayweather fan, then you probably have a tough guy take on the incident. But any boxing purist will tell you this: that was a punk move.
We're not here to cry and complain about what he did dirty or what I did dirty. I was victorious. If he wants a rematch, he can get a rematch.
Number 18. Shaq Dunks on Chris Dudley.
Shaq against Dudley. Nice.
Over the course of his 8-year tenure with the Los Angeles Lakers, Shaquille O'Neal posted some huge numbers. During one particularly sweaty game against the New York Knicks in 1999, he posted his hefty figure all up on Chris Dudley before complimenting the move with a classic shove.
Fourth quarter, Lakers up 3. Shaq into Chris Dudley. Dudley takes exception and picks up the ball and drills Shaq in the butt.
Dudley, being a grown man and all, didn't quite appreciate this questionable display of sportsmanship. So he naturally launched the ball at Shaq, as if this could erase this nasty bit of human posturing from his memory.
If you want to pick somebody to go with, you go right to the head of the class when you go after Shaq.
Number 17. Eden Hazard kicks the ball boy.
But what's happened here? One of the Chelsea players, I think, has attacked, or certainly has wrestled the ball away from the ball boy.
If you're familiar with European football, you know that both players and fans alike will basically do anything in the spirit of gamesmanship. So when a Swansea ball boy attempted to bamboozle the Chelsea club during their 2013 Capital One Cup semifinal game, Eden Hazard wreaked some serious havoc and launched a swift gut bomb to the poor kid's midsection. Sure, we don't exactly condone the ball boy's behavior, but in a time when all sporting events are captured on film, we have to wonder, what exactly was Hazard thinking?
Oh, it's going to be a red card!
We'll say this: Eden earned that red card.
That's inexcusable by Eden Hazard. There is no excuse for that at all.
Number 16. Barry Hall punches Brent Staker.
And one of the most controversial and, got to say, ordinary incidents I've seen on a football field for a while.
If you Google the Australian footballer named Barry Hall, you'll discover that he's been involved in a few incidents during his AFL career.
That's a good headlock too. He has been poking the bear, and the bear has responded.
In a 2008 match against the West Coast Eagles, the veteran tough guy put a left hook on Brent Staker's chin. Because, you know, he's competitive, or perhaps a few cards short of a full deck.
I'll tell you what, the look of Brent Staker's eyes after the impact is not going to do Barry Hall a whole lot of good.
All joking aside, the cheap shot took Staker out of the game, and Hall was later suspended for 7 games while securing a permanent place on the YouTube Wall of Shame for unsportsmanlike moments. Number 15, Trevor Chapell's Pansy Bowl.
You only have to say the underarm incident, and every dedicated cricket follower knows exactly what you mean.
When it comes to the rules and regulations of cricket, there's nothing that says one can't bowl underarm. But in the spirit of competition, it's simply a no-no.
Let's make sure it isn't underarm, but I've got the feeling.
So imagine the outrage when an already contentious 1981 match between Australia and New Zealand took a troubling turn when Australia's Trevor Chapell effectively mailed it in to secure a final victory.
We're going to go an underarm. We haven't believed it. That's a disappointing finish.
The New Zealanders actually needed 6 runs to tie it up, but in perhaps the most boneheaded decision of Australian cricket, Greg Chapell asked his brother to embrace his inner cowardice, because sports are just that damn important. Briefly a champ, forever a bum.
I think it was a disgraceful performance from a captain who got his sums wrong today, and I think it should never be permitted to happen again.
Number 14, Albert Haynesworth stomps Andre Giroud.
Haynesworth has been disqualified and walks off.
Early on in the 2006 NFL season, the Tennessee Titans were hosting America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. However, defensive tackle Albert Haynesworth nearly ended the American dream of Andre Giroud for no apparent reason other than malicious intent.
And a flag is down, thrown into the end zone. Oh my gosh.
After a play, Haynesworth strolled on over to a pile of opponents and proceeded to kick and stomp Giroud while he was still on the ground.
It was pretty impressive, the physical day that he was having, getting good push in there, knocking people back. And, at the end of the day, he frustrated a pretty good player in our league.
But while most mature players can keep their emotions and thoughts in check, Haynesworth just went ahead anyway like it was no big deal, which led to 30 stitches for Giroud.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's uncalled for, man. That is unbelievable.
Number 13, the shoe incident. Fights are pretty commonplace in hockey, but even for the rock'em sock'em playing style of the 70s, this brawl involving a Boston Bruins defenseman and a New York Rangers fan was really out of the norm. To catch a spectator who'd assaulted a player, the Bruins team leapt into the stands to confront the culprit.
And all the Bruins are going over. Gilbert is in there, Peter McNabb.
However, what was most shocking was when Mike Milbury hit the offender with his own shoe. The incident led to multiple player suspensions and fines.
Well, the Bruins are at a decided disadvantage, Fred, with those skates, and somebody could get seriously hurt.
Number 12, Roberto Alomar and the spitting incident. He may be one of baseball's most talented second basemen, but that doesn't mean he always kept himself in line. During a 1996 game against the Blue Jays, Roberto Alomar objected to John Hirschbeck's call by spitting in the umpire's face.
He looks like he spits in Hirschbeck's face.
Though the Baltimore Orioles player claimed the umpire had made racist comments, Alomar was suspended for 5 games. However, the two eventually reconciled. Number 11, the Boston Marathon cheater. Though Rosie Ruiz maintained that she ran the Boston Marathon in its entirety, it's generally accepted that the Cuban-American cheated her way to the finish line. The fact that Ruiz barely broke a sweat and wasn't familiar with common runner's terms was just the starting point for people's suspicions. For while there wasn't any video surveillance, witness reports that she took the subway and official investigations ultimately revealed the truth.
She was in track clothes and wearing a number, but I thought someone had just sort of stumbled into the race, maybe.
Number 10, Kermit Washington punches Rudy Tomjanovich.
I didn't see it, but I heard it. It sounded like a melon that had been dropped on the floor.
When you're one of 7 players to average 20 points and 20 rebounds over your entire college career, it takes something pretty despicable for that to be overshadowed. And there's really nothing to justify the 1977 roundhouse punch that Kermit Washington dropped on Rudy Tomjanovich, who was just simply trying to break up an in-game brawl between the LA Lakers and Houston Rockets. The punch nearly killed Tomjanovich, and considering the graphic descriptions of those who witnessed it firsthand, it's kind of a miracle that he went on to have a successful coaching career, considering he tasted his own spinal fluid on that fateful day.
I wish I could go back, give me a time machine. I think I would just have ducked and never started a fight.
Number 9, Eric Cantona Kung Fu Kick.
Oh, what's going on here? Cantona's getting involved with some supporters.
These two sports don't often appear in the same sentence, but a French athlete known as King Eric brought the two together during an outrageous moment in 1995.
The Football Association called it a stain on the game and have charged Cantona with bringing the game into disrepute.
Playing away to Crystal Palace, Eric Cantona overheard a Palace fan's hateful boasting. Did he just shrug it off? Nah, he instead greeted him with a Bruce Lee-style kung fu kick, followed by a series of Floyd Mayweather-like jabs. When all was said and done, Cantona earned himself an 8-month ban.
Once more, Eric Cantona is the man at the centre of a dramatic controversy.
In perhaps the strangest press conference ever, the player referenced seagulls. Wow.
When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you.
Number 8. Marty McSorley hits Donald Brashear with stick.
Well, McSorley slashed Brashear and caught him in the helmet.
In the world of hockey, a sport in which players are allowed to fight during games, there's nothing that typically surprises fans, or players for that matter. Unless, of course, it's a blindside cheap shot.
I think Marty, in all fairness, he was trying to tap him in the shoulder. But, you're very responsible for your stick.
In 2000, with less than 5 seconds left in a game against the Vancouver Canucks, the Boston Bruins' Marty McSorley inexplicably whacked Donald Brashear in the face from behind. This led Brashear to not only take a nasty backwards fall, but also to suffer from a severe concussion.
They brought the stretcher out for Brashear. He is still down and not moving.
When there are so many ways to confront your opponent in hockey, this particular display of unsportsmanlike conduct unsurprisingly caught the attention of the British Columbia authorities.
He really tried to injure me, and I could have died. I don't think this guy should be playing in the league anymore.
McSorley would end up being sentenced to 18 months probation. He never played in the NHL again.
Now, do you accept the apology from Marty?
I'll never understand how he got to the point where he would hit me in the head with a stick.
Number 7. Suárez Biting Incidents. We could probably make a whole list about this player's numerous misdeeds, but for this video, we're going to go with what striker Luis Suárez is most commonly known for: biting opposing players. Yes, players. The first incident occurred in 2010 when he bit attacking midfielder Otman Bakal on the shoulder. In 2013, he went for Chelsea's Branislav Ivanovic.
That is quite incredible and pretty disgusting.
Then, a year later, he bit the back shoulder of Italy's Giorgio Chiellini during a World Cup match. While widely considered a skilled and talented player, his actions with his teeth, along with other controversies, have surely cast a shadow over his career.
It looks to me, dare I say it, that he's had a little bite at Chiellini. Surely not again.
Number 6. The Black Sox Scandal. This scandal caused so much damage to baseball that officials banned the players involved for life. Referring to the conspiracy between 8 White Sox players and pro gamblers to deliberately lose the 1919 World Series games, this fixing of the MLB championship also achieved notoriety for the alleged participation of legendary athletes like Eddie Seacott and Shoeless Joe Jackson. Number 5. Zinedine Zidane headbutts Marco Materazzi. It was during France's return to the 2006 World Cup Finals when, seemingly out of nowhere, Zinedine Zidane used his noggin to hit Marco Materazzi's chest.
Oh, wow.
Zidane was sent off the pitch and Italy won the game in the shootout. It was later revealed that the Italian player had taunted and insulted him. Zidane has publicly said that he wouldn't have been able to live with himself had he not been sent off. We're not sure that France would say the same thing.
You can't excuse that. Zidane's career ends in disgrace.
Number 4. Todd Bertuzzi punches Steve Moore.
Todd Bertuzzi after Steve Moore. Grabs his shoulder, having a little chat with him, grabs his sweater, gives him a whack, and piling on is Andre Nikolic, and everybody's into it. Now we get a line brawl.
It's one thing to stand up for a teammate, but this was just way out of line. In retaliation for a hit on captain Marcus Naslund by Colorado Avalanche forward Steve Moore in a previous game, Vancouver Canucks forward Todd Bertuzzi attempted to provoke Moore into fighting him. But when Moore would not respond, Bertuzzi proceeded to grab his jersey and punch him on the side of his face. Moore would subsequently land face first on the ice. Out cold, he was carried out in a stretcher. Although Bertuzzi apologized for his actions, the league would suspend him for the remainder of the season, and the incident remains one of the NHL's darkest moments. Number 3. The attack on Nancy Kerrigan. While the Olympics are competitive, this went beyond anything we'd come to expect from figure skating. To increase her chances at the Olympics, Tonya Harding conspired to have rival Nancy Kerrigan taken out of the picture. Kerrigan was then unable to participate in the U.S. Figure Skating Championship, clearing the way for Harding's victory.
There is some concern, though, about a measure of pain radiating up her right leg, and that, of course, is the leg on which she lands her jumps.
Though both made the Olympic team, Harding eventually faced charges for her involvement. Number 2. The Malice at the Palace. Though the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons fight began on the court, it quickly degenerated into the NBA's most infamous brawl when they took it to the stands.
Now Artest has jumped over the scorer's table and is trying to get down to the bench.
After a spectator threw a drink at the man formerly known as Ron Artest, pro b-ballers and fans began throwing punches and drinks at each other. The Pacers-Pistons brawl led to multiple player suspensions and criminal charges for several fans.
Such a dangerous situation. That made it very dangerous and made it very scary.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are some dishonorable mentions. Chris Simon steps on the back of Jarkko Ruutu's leg with skate.
Oh, that's a bad kick to the back of Ruutu.
Meta World Peace elbows James Harden in the face.
Oh, that's disgraceful. That's not only ejection, that's going to be a suspension and should be. What a disgrace.
Pedro Martinez and Don Zimmer brawl.
You talk about looking for a reason.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Dennis Weidman knocks down linesman.
Salomaki, and then he is banged up. And he's going to try and make his way to the bench. And there's the collision with Don Henderson. He doesn't even see the linesman.
Jack Tatum's preseason game hit on Daryl Stingley.
Even though no flags were thrown on the play and no fines were levied against Tatum, his motives were questioned because of his reputation and apparent lack of remorse.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Bite Fight. Mike Tyson was already seen as a wild and crazy boxer, but his 1997 rematch against Evander Holyfield topped anything and everything else he'd done in the ring. During the Sound and the Fury fight, Tyson bit his opponent's ear on 2 separate occasions during the match.
It looked as if Tyson bared his teeth at one stage in the exchange.
Yes,
bit his ear.
He bit his ear. That's what Holyfield was in a lot of pain from that.
He later stated his actions were in response to Holyfield's unpenalized headbutting. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.